The winning blueprint presents.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. It is Tuesday afternoon. Man, is it cold today? Very cold here in the eastern part of the United States of America. It's very cold. But it's hot in the lab room. A lot to get to, so let's not delay. Let's get to it right away. Jerry Jones is at it again. He said this was going to be a very busy offseason. A lot of changes were going to be made. That's what he said out of his mouth. And one thing I've learned over the years, as you probably have too, when Jerry Jones speaks, I hear him. Not always listening attentively, but I hear him. And sometimes if you actually listen, because hearing and listening are two different things. You can hear someone without actually listening to them. But when you actually listen to Jerry, sometimes he gives you some things. And after that loss to the Redskins in the season finale for the Cowboys, Jerry said some things, and I actually was listening. And one of the things that he said was, there are going to be changes made in this offseason. He's already fired Rob Ryan. He's already hired Monty Kiffin as a defensive coordinator. He's already hired Rod Marinelli as his defensive line coach. Now he's stripping Jason Garrett of his play calling duties. So he's not playing, is Jerry Jones. He's ready for things to start whipping into shape in Dallas. And if they don't, then heads will roll. And right now, this is the precursor to heads rolling in Dallas. He doesn't want to make huge changes, just subtle changes. Get rid of the defensive coordinator, get a new one in there. Switch the defensive line coach. Now he's taking the play calling duties away from Jason Garrett. This was a long time coming. Jason Garrett should not have been calling plays. But that was the reason he got the job as the Cowboys head coach, because he was supposed to be this boy wonder, boy genius, Red Jesus play caller. Didn't work out. So now he's going to be relegated to just being the head coach, which is what he should have been in the first place. Hard for me to fathom a guy that's never coached in the National Football League as a head coach will be just given the ability to call his own plays, even though he's never balanced the juggling act known as being a head coach in the National Football League. There's so much going on game day that you don't need to be concerning yourself with what exactly is being called on the field in terms of plays, X's and O's and what may have you. You have too many other things you could be worrying about, like managing the flow of the game, managing your timeouts, managing your challenges, managing personnel. These are all things that you should be paying attention to on game day, not necessarily worrying about calling X jet right 55 slot gut on 3. Let somebody else do that. You stick to worrying about the whole team, not just the offense. And so Jerry Jones has seen enough of this act. He's made a change. Bill Callahan, who was the offensive coordinator, even though he wasn't calling the plays, will now officially be calling the plays for the Dallas Cowboys. So he'll actually be an offensive coordinator that actually gets to call the plays. Go figure. Who would have thought? An offensive coordinator who actually gets to call the plays. Now, if that isn't forward thinking, I don't know what is. In other related news, speaking of the Cowboys, a disciple of Bill Parcells, who was once a Cowboys coach, and Sean Payton, who was once on that Cowboys staff, has now been cleared to return to the National Football League as the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's been a long time coming. Sean Payton has been sorely missed. He's probably the chief reason why the New Orleans Saints weren't playing in the postseason this year. You could look at his absence and really, you don't need to probe any further than that. They were missing their leader, their chief. And so, he'll be back on the sidelines in 2013. And I assume so will the New Orleans Saints that we've come accustomed to knowing, that scores copious amounts of points, wins football games by outscoring the opposition. Hey, this defense is still monumentally bad. But at least they'll have a head coach that won't ever take his foot off of the gas pedal. So if you decide to score 42, maybe the Saints now will be able to score 45 instead of losing 41-38. Also in some Saints news, Gregg Williams is back. Now, he didn't have a job. When he last left the NFL, he was going to be the defensive coordinator of the St. Louis Rams. But all of that changed sometime last year when he was suspended indefinitely. Well, the NFL has given him the opportunity to start looking for work. They haven't reinstated him yet. I haven't heard that term used yet, reinstatement. However, they've told him, hey, go ahead and start pursuing jobs. We'll let you know when you've been cleared to start resuming activities as normally scheduled. But just start looking for work in the meantime. Which means, ... he's going to be reinstated here shortly. It's only a matter of time before the NFL says, hey, we've slapped you on the wrist. Don't do it again. Welcome back. And so I feel good for Gregg Williams. There's always been a soft part of my heart for him, being the ex-defensive coordinator of the Washington Redskins, Sean Taylor being his favorite player. And so I respect Gregg Williams. Sometimes he can be a little bit over the top, as we've heard, as we've seen, but it's all in the name of football. He loves football. He loves coaching it. Yeah, he can be over the top sometimes. Yeah, he can go a little too far, talking about taking guys' Achilles tendons and ACLs and what may have you. But at the end of the day, the man is a football coach who loves the game of football. He took it too far. I think he's learned his lesson. And I don't think he's ever really intently wanted someone to get injured. That's what football is about. It's a gladiator sport. You want to go out there and knock the snot out of the next guy. You want to knock the snot out of the opposing player. And really, if he doesn't get back up, you won't feel bad as long as he's not permanently hurt. And guys, you're looking to injure someone, not hurt them. You just want a guy to not be able to finish the game or to think twice about crossing the middle of the field next time. And I think that's all Gregg Williams was trying to hammer home. Now, he didn't go about it the right way. He didn't go about it the right way at all. But his point was well taken. And I think his players knew what he was trying to say. And again, those not in the locker room, those not around Gregg Williams, don't actually know how he coaches his players. They don't know what his message really is. All you hear is that he's telling someone to take out an ACL. You hear him tell someone to do this and do that. And it sounds gruesome. And it sounds very, very unsportsmanlike. And it sounds very harmful. But at the end of the day, and I said this before, he's a football coach. He's trying to hammer home the point that we need to be more physical than the opposing team. And so, Gregg Williams, while his actions were egregious, and again, he has to be more careful of what he says, who he says it around, because you can't tell me that coaches around the league don't talk like that a lot. And there are coaches that probably say things even worse than that. You just haven't heard them mic'd up when they said it. You haven't heard a guy who was doing a documentary standing in the locker room recording everything and then leaking it to the press. That's all. But coaches say things that can't go beyond the ears of the players, can't go outside of the locker room. We know that. That's a fact. It happens in every NFL locker room around the National Football League. Things that are said, if it gets out, then it'll be a controversy. Then people will look at that person in a different light. But that's the nature of the beast that we love, called the National Football League. Welcome back, Gregg Williams, a fine defensive coordinator. He'll be welcomed back by whoever gives him a chance, because someone's going to give him work. Trust me. May not be right now, because I don't know if there are any defensive coordinator positions open. There may be one or two, but he may need one more season for this thing to kind of blow over. It might still be kind of fresh in the minds of many. And so he may need one more season to just kind of chill out, lay down low beneath the surface, kind of under the radar, and then resurface next season when there's 7 new defensive coordinator positions open and available for business. He can slide into one easily when no one's looking, when no one's talking about it, and no one will even know he's back in the National Football League. I'm just kidding. Everybody will know. They'll make a big story and mockery of it, but doesn't matter. He probably just needs one more season for this thing to blow over. Sean Payton, not so much. He'll be back in the fold. They'll talk about it for maybe a week or two, maybe the preseason, then it'll go away. Then it'll be back to football, business as usual. So I want to touch on something quickly. This thing is becoming a joke more and more every season. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm talking about the good old Pro Bowl. Remember when people actually cared about the Pro Bowl? Remember when guys were actually thrilled and honored to be selected to go to the Pro Bowl? Remember those days when you could actually elect a guy to the Pro Bowl and he'd actually show up? Man, those days seem so far removed right now. This Pro Bowl is a mockery. It is a joke right now. Half of the league are Pro Bowlers. The Redskins may have started out with 2 Pro Bowlers. We're probably up to like 12 now. It's ridiculous. Everyone's getting Pro Bowlers. No one wants to go anymore. If you've been 5 times, you're like, hey, I don't need to go back. My family's been to Hawaii 3 times already. I'm fine. Give it to somebody else. I don't feel like going. Oh, I have an ankle injury that needs nursing. This is a joke. This is why I say you keep the Pro Bowl itself. You do away with the game, because no one watches. And I say that, and yet the Pro Bowl still gets a higher rating, a Nielsen rating, higher than a World Series baseball game sometimes. It's crazy because people still tune in to a meaningless football game. Yet no one's really watching. No one cares. That's the power of the NFL. No one's watching, yet you still get a 7.8. You still get a 2.9. You still get a 4.6, which is still higher than, Major League Baseball divisional round series. It's crazy. It makes absolutely no sense. Yet, this game couldn't be more irrelevant if it tried. And no one's showing up. You've got guys third removed, Pro Bowlers now. It's just getting out of hand. No one's showing up. The alternate to the alternate isn't showing up anymore. So now, the alternate's alternate is going to the Pro Bowl. We got to stop this. Just have the title, the moniker of Pro Bowler still available. So, at the end of the season, this person, and that person are Pro Bowlers. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and, I don't know, Andrew Luck are Pro Bowlers. Have it be that way. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Joe Flacco are your Pro Bowlers from the AFC. Have it be that way and move on. Just move on. Don't have the game. Don't allow people to check out. Oh, I got an injury. I can't come. Have everyone do it the same way they've been doing it for all these years in terms of voting. Have the fans have their say-so. Elect guys to the Pro Bowl and continue to tally the numbers of Pro Bowls that guys go to, 12, 9, 7, and leave it at that. No longer do you need the game. Do away with it because it's a joke now. It's a joke, but no one's laughing except me. Just go ahead and get rid of the game. I just think you need to continue to tally them because it matters. Making the Pro Bowl still matters to people. It recognizes you as one of the elite players at your position. And I think that still matters for guys like Trent Williams. Me being a Redskins fan, I know that Trent Williams, it mattered to him. He wanted to be a Pro Bowler for the first time this season. He set out a goal before the season started of being a Pro Bowl left tackle. He's one of the best left tackles in the business. And him being recognized as a Pro Bowler kind of hammered that point home, and it really reassured him that, yeah, I had a really good season, and I'm on my way to being one of the best in the league. And so guys still need that reassurance, and that's good. I think that's a healthy nomination to the Pro Bowl, and I think that as we look at guys going into the Hall of Fame or being elected or being eligible for the Hall of Fame, Pro Bowls matter. It matters that a guy was a 12-time Pro Bowler. It matters that a guy only made it to 2 Pro Bowls. That stuff matters. And so, yeah, I think we should keep the Pro Bowl in terms of guys making it, but we need to do away with the game. I think the game now has run its course, and it really doesn't matter enough to guys to send their families to Hawaii, especially when they've already been 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times. Doesn't matter to them anymore. And so I think we need to do away with the game itself and just keep the actual tag and moniker of being a Pro Bowler. And that's going to do it for this episode of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. Want to tack on this quick extra point. So, Titus Young, Lions receiver. I don't know why that's not ex-Lions receiver yet, but Lions receiver. Can someone tell me if this guy has a chemical imbalance or not, please? Because if he does, we're not having this discussion. I will leave him alone. If he has a chemical imbalance and needs help, I won't go there. Because that means he has a disorder and he needs help. And I'm fine with that. Everyone needs help sometimes. But if there's absolutely nothing wrong with this guy's chemical imbalance, and he's just a nut job, then I'm going to take him to task every time he does or says something extremely idiotic, like he did today. He said, hey, I want the football or I don't want to play anymore. So are we 7 now? Is that what it is? Are you going to take your ball and go home too? So we're 7? If you don't get the football, you're going to go home? You don't want to play anymore? Then go home. Who cares? Go home. You don't have to be paid to play a game that so many would kill to play and love playing. If you want to be stingy and don't want anyone else to get the football and you want to threaten to go home, go home. Who cares? No one's going to cry because Titus Young doesn't want to play anymore because he's not getting the football in every single play. Go home. Go find something else to do. Go work in real estate. Go work as a used car salesman. You don't want to play football anymore? Fine. There's someone else out there that would love to take your job. Go home. I've never heard more. I want the ball or I don't want to play anymore. Fine. Don't play anymore. You're an average receiver right now anyway. So, who cares? I've never heard someone be as blunt and sound so ridiculous in the process as Titus Young. I've never heard of someone sabotaging his team first and foremost. Right there, that should get you banned out of the league. Because if I'm a coach, I'm a GM, I don't want this guy anywhere near my team. This guy's a cancer. I don't want him spreading to anyone on my roster. So I wouldn't even look at him with the intention of giving him a job on my team at all. I don't want him anywhere near my roster. That's first and foremost. Why he's still in the league right now baffles me. Because if I hear the word sabotage and it's used in the same sentence with a player that's currently on my team, then he needs to be formally on my team. And so for him to even come out and say anything remotely negative, for him to come out and say anything remotely detrimental to him changing his image, shocking. Absolutely shocking on so many different levels. And whoever his agent is or handler or whoever needs to get in his ear and say, Titus, how about you do me a favor? Shut the hell up. Because you're making an absolute ass out of yourself. This guy, he's a piece of work. That is for certain. So someone please tell me that he has a chemical imbalance so I can stop. Because if no one does that, I'm going to continue to take him to task every time because he's going to say more dumb things. He's going to do more dumb things. And maybe when he's out of the league in a year or two and he does something stupid and I don't have to comment on it, then I won't. But until he's no longer a part of the National Football League, I'm just going to continue to beat this horse dead because Titus Young is a clown. An absolute, unadulterated clown. And everybody's laughing at you, including me, because you make absolutely no sense. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame, because the guy is actually talented. Because up here and the rest of his body aren't on the same page. I'm pretty sure the rest of his body's like, hey, what are you doing, man? Shut up. You're going to mess this thing up for us. We like playing football. What are you doing? Stop talking, brain. That's what the body's saying. But, you know, the brain controls everything. And so he's like, you shut up. You don't tell me what to do. If I don't get the ball, I don't feel like playing. What a joke, man. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop. Hopefully he gets his act together. Because, again, the man is talented. And I'd hate to see talent go to waste. But you don't have it here, then it doesn't matter how fast you can run, how well you can catch, how high you can jump. It doesn't matter. If it's not here, then all the rest of those things are irrelevant. And right now, Titus Young is one taco short of a combination play. That's going to do it for this episode of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me on this program on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, although it's very chilly. Many ways to contact or view the show. There's Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Like me on Facebook. Every video I've ever done is on the Facebook page, so check it out. There's also Twitter. In the Lab Room is the Twitter page, so at In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Follow me on Twitter. Again, just as Facebook, every video that I've ever done has been posted on Twitter, so check Twitter out as well. There's YouTube. Louis T is the page. Subscribe. Every video, as you can imagine, is on that page. Everything that has to do with this show is on that page. As you can imagine, I have to go through YouTube to upload my videos, so check the YouTube page out as well. And there's also the inbox. Directly, everything that you send, whether it be through Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, or you post something on the bottom of a video, comes directly to the inbox. In the Lab Room at gmail.com is the inbox. So if you want to just drop something in there directly, feel free to do so. I thank you for joining me here on the program. I want to see you back here later on when we talk Miami Dolphins football on the Lab follow-up segment. So stay tuned for the Dolphins, as there's a lot to get to with that team. Again, they were featured on Hard Knocks, and they had a better season than one would think. And so we'll talk about the Miami Dolphins, what they were able to do in 2012, what they need to do in the offseason to help them become a better team and franchise. And so we will talk Miami Dolphins on the Lab follow-up today. So stick around for that. But as far as In the Lab Room itself is concerned, that's going to do it. Thank you for joining me. Want to see you back here same time, same place. And as always, take care of yourself. Have a good one.